Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Morgan podcast, my favorite time of the week. Thank you so much for carving a little time out of your schedule to join me. My name is Rod Morgan. I will serve as the host of the proceedings this evening. Joining me is my partner in all things Morgan Universe. He is the executive producer around here. He is the social media director. He is the co-host, I suppose. Jimmy, is there anything else I'm leaving out here? Jimmy Jamriska?
Just an all-around good guy. Hey, everybody. Very happy to be here, as always. Took a nice week off in beautiful Branson, Missouri. Ready to rock and roll now.
So, yeah, Jim, give us all the blow-by-blow of the VIP backstage Lee Greenwood treatment. How many hands does he shake? How many signed photos do you get? Do you get an album version of I'm Proud to Be an American? Is it a gold-plated lithograph? Do you get stock in the Fox News Corporation? How does it all work?
Nothing is free. You pay $100, and then you have to pay more to get anything else. It's so strange. Like, to get in, you had to pay more. It was money, money, money. You know what stinks, Rod? I love that song. It's like one of my favorite songs ever. It's a terrific song. Love the song. We sang it Jefferson Elementary School. We did not sing the national anthem. We sang that song. Love it. Damn it, Rod. Damn it.
I was going to say, I'm fairly certain you and I might have even been like arm in arm singing that at one point during the Gulf War conflict when you and I were Jefferson Jets back in the day. You know, that was a different time, Jimmy Jam. It couldn't possibly still be wars going on in the world, right? People don't still fight wars in the Middle East, right? That doesn't happen, does it?
No, we're good.
No, good. Definitely.
Everything's fine.
You know something, though, Jimmy, that I do actually have a question about, and I told you that we weren't going to talk about this, but now I do want to talk about this, okay?
Okay.
It's kind of the cold open question of the week, if you will, all right? I went to a 311 concert, speaking of nostalgia, over the weekend at Northerly Island, a beautiful venue up in Chicago, Illinois, right on the lake. Beautiful place to see a show, outdoor venue. But Jimmy, every fourth or fifth commercial that was portrayed to me on the video screens was for this athletic, non-alcoholic beer. And then every time I'm walking up and down the concourse, I'm seeing athletic, non-alcoholic beer, and I'm seeing all these advertisements for non-alcoholic cocktails. And I say to you, Jimmy, who is this for? I don't want to live in a world where rock and roll concerts or hip-hop reggae, I guess, if you want to get technical about what 311 does, are a sanitized version. Concerts are supposed to be places where people get wild. Jimmy, am I now wrong in 2026?
I am fascinated by this non-alcoholic beer revolution. I don't understand. I don't get the point. Put cocktails aside, Rod, because, you know, we all like slushies, okay? Non-alcoholic, it's like a slushie. It really is. Okay, that's fine. But this non-alcoholic beer, I went to the store. This is a while ago. And it's like, oh, Budweiser Zero. What's this? That's kind of cool. Something new. No, it's non-alcoholic. Like, I don't get the mindset that someone needs to have a non-beer in their hand when you could just have a Coke or something, or a Mountain Dew, if you will, Rod, sponsor. Why can't you just do that? I don't understand. No one's making fun of anyone for not drinking these days. Like, no one is, right?
Yeah, I follow Derek Thompson on Twitter because I think he's a pretty smart guy, and I like his podcast that he does on the Ringer Podcast Network. And he has been involved in this back and forth and all these articles being written about how a lot of young people, I guess, believe that drinking is now unhealthy for them. And he really, really pushes back against that. And he's like, no, it's not actually that unhealthy for you. He's like, of course, binge drinking is not good. He's like, but, drinking in moderation, there's really not any proof that it can be unhealthy for you. And Jim, I totally echo your sentiments on buying the Budweiser Zero. I was rolling through Meijer, one of my actual favorite places to buy alcohol, believe it or not. Pretty good prices there, pretty good selection. The Meijer happens to be located close to the radio station that I do my weekend work at. So I'm rolling through there and I see this nice fancy looking lime Mexican cerveza. And I'm like, hey, cool. This looks like it might be fun, right? Summertime. I love me a good Mexican lager, a good Mexican cerveza this time. A little hint of lime. That sounds great. Right up my alley. Like you just said, Mountain Dew. Love that. Yeah. Bring it home. Yeah. Sure enough, non-alcoholic. So what I'm saying here is if this non-alcoholic beer is for somebody, us older guys, we require bigger labels that say non-alcoholic, right? Like, or we need to have a catch-all name. It needs to all be near beer, like they used to call it back in the day, or something, right, Jimmy? We got to have a better name than like they're tricking us into thinking it's a real beer, because I think that's what they're doing. No.
No question. They want you to buy it thinking it's real. And then, well, I bought it, so I might as well try it. Oh, I might like it. I just don't understand like the taste of it. Like the taste, beer is fine. You know, some people say it's an acquired taste. You know, that's fine. But if you're not getting anything else from it, why are you drinking it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we've already done this revolution where we've decided that we have to get our water out of a 16-ounce metal can at concerts now, and it has to be called Liquid Death, right? And we're allowed to be charged $8 for that. So we've already allowed this. Now we're like, guess what? We want to charge you extra for water in a metal can, but now we want to go above and beyond that. We're going to sell you pop in a plastic bottle, but we're going to sell you this beer that doesn't have alcohol in it, but we're going to charge you almost as much as we charge you for the beers, which, by the way, Jimmy, let's talk about that, okay? Walked into Northern Island, the beer situation, stand, whatever you want to call it, is right there as you walk in. Four beers, take a guess. 4 beers, how much?
$28.
No.
For four?
No. 60.
$91. $91 for 4 beers at Northern Island up in Chicago, Illinois to C311, Jimmy.
Those are like 64-ounce beers, though, right?
No, they weren't 64 ounces. They were 24 or whatever, but they weren't 64 ounces. And that was the voice of, you know him, you love him. The trio is back together. The old man, he was on a call down in Bloomington, Indiana. Now he's here. Chris King, hello.
What is up, fellas? Yes, I was on a call. I was on a call with Count Benface. Not sure if you guys know him. Every once in a while, there is a political candidate that really speaks to the heart of voters. And of course, I mean the English voters in the Clacton by-election coming up in August. Vote Count Benface. He is a independent space warrior. He is Britain's last great hope against Nigel Farage and the fraud that he has perpetrated on the English people.
That is so good. I know exactly who Count Benface is, and I am so with Chris on all of that. But if you would have asked me what Chris was going to come in with, I would have given you Count Benface after about 14 other guesses, Jimmy. Do you know Count Benface?
Now that I Wikipedia'd Count Benface, yes, I do. Chris, you're my favorite person, I think, in the world. You really are. You're amazing. So Chris, you came in here. And we're having a very lively discussion. You were around when the first beer was made, so you have a lot to say about this. Rod just fell over in his chair. Rod is concerned about the non-alcoholic beer revolution going on. Listen, you drink what you want. I just don't understand why you would do that when you can just have a Coke or something like that.
So I have spent some time in Bavaria, in Germany, and I have met plenty of real beer drinkers in my day, right? And when you grow up in an environment where water's not safe, where things have to be fermented and distilled to make it safe, you go for your wines, your beers. That's what's in your culture, all right? I stayed with a family. I knew many of men who would drink beer all day long, every day. Monday through Friday, though, it was non-alcoholic. So they could continue to work, hold down jobs, right? Weekends, the real thing, right? And they loved it. And when I say they loved it, I mean they had cases of non-alcoholic brew right next to the cases of their alcoholic brew, right? And I have to give them prop. If you are a true beer lover and you want that taste, you want that flavor, then non-alcoholic's the way to go.
Weekends are made for Michelob. Wasn't that the old ad campaign? Oh, I love that. I did not listen. Chris comes in here with Count Benface talking about his times in Bavaria. That's why nobody can bring to the podcast what the old man can bring down in Bloomington. But the trio is back together for the first time in a couple of weeks. So another question I had for you gentlemen right now that neither one of you is prepared for. What is your all-time favorite trio? Jimmy Jam, you've been on the pod for a few minutes. You've had a chance to warm up. What's your all-time favorite trio?
Demolition, 100%. We've got Axe, Smash, and Crush from the WWE. Here comes the Axe, here comes the Smasher, the Demolition, Walking Disaster. They kind of did the Freebird rules where if they were the World Tag Team Champions, anyone could come in and wrestle. I stay on brand, Rod, and when you ask me to think quickly, I go to wrestling.
That is why you are a guy, Jimmy Jam. Chris, your favorite trio, history, movie, music, wrestling. You got so many choices.
I went straight to music, right? And I got two that I can't decipher between, right? I'm going to call them 1A and 1B. That's Nirvana and the Beastie Boys.
Okay. Beastie Boys on my list. I actually made a top 10 list of best trios. Are you gentlemen ready? The Three Musketeers, Larry, Moe, and Curly, the Three Stooges.
That's the answer.
Run TMC, Mitch Richmond, Chris Mullen, and Tim Hardaway from the Golden State Warriors. The Powerpuff Girls. Chris, I'm surprised you didn't pull out the Powerpuff Girls, an all-time great trio. The Bee Gees, had the Beastie Boys on my list. Me, Myself, and I, great trio. Of course, I would bring themselves up. Control, Alt, Delete, very important for me in my Control days. Gotta love Control, Alt, Delete. And if we're going all-time history, none of us would be here if it wasn't for the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria. I'll do you in the bottom while you're drinking sangria. That's a different song. And then the number one answer for top 10 all-time trios is, of course, the Three Amigos.
Rod, that's a great list. I do think that the Three Stooges is number one on that list, though. The Three Stooges, you can watch that today, and it's still as funny as it was back then.
I would maybe
Chris
give
is dumbfounded.
I would maybe give us being here to Amerigo Vespucci before the Pilgrims. I would also am a little bit surprised that Three Amigos made the top list of your trios when I believe we've heard you bash the Three Amigos before on this very podcast.
I've bashed the Three Amigos as a movie, but as a trio, they're pretty unassailable. Speaking of something else that's unassailable, baseball is at the All-Star break right now. You can't dispute that. They had the All-Star game last night. I absolutely did not watch it. They had the Home Run Derby the other day. I absolutely did not watch it. Baseball is creeping back for me, but I haven't quite gotten all the way back. But on the journey to Rodtober, I do have a tradition that we've actually done on the podcast before with both of you gentlemen. I wonder if you remember it. How well do Jimmy and Chris know their baseball? Because they like to tell me that they follow it. So here we are at the All-Star break. Can Jimmy and Chris tell us who is leading in statistical categories in both the American and National League? I'm not even going to pitching, gentlemen. I'm not even going to pitching, all right? I'm pulling out the big five offensive stats. All I want to know is, can you tell me, and I'm just going to ask it straight out, can you tell me who leads the AL or NL in hitting, batting average, home runs, RBIs, or stolen bases? Can you gentlemen care to offer a guess?
So there is a guy in Tampa Bay, Diaz. I think he leads in a couple, but I could not tell you which one. Maybe average, maybe hits. I can't remember. But I know he's up there on a lot of those offensive categories.
Chris is 2 for 2. Yandy Diaz of your Tampa Bay Rays is leading the American League in batting average at 322, and he is tied for the lead in hits in the American League with 111.
And then I know Kyle Schwarber leads the National League in home runs.
That is correct, Chris.
And he leads the majors. He leads the majors in home runs.
That's correct. He's 3 for 3. Jimmy Jam, you got anything? You care to offer a guess here?
Nolan Ryan still playing?
He is not.
No, I got it.
And we're not doing pitching. I also did say that.
I know. That's why I went there. Schwarber was the only one I was going to get close on. I thought Nick Kurtz might be up there in the AL, but I don't.
He is not.
I'm pretty sure there's a Cardinal in the top 5 of RBIs. Maybe I saw that like a week or so ago, and that made me mad.
He's not in the top 5 any longer, Chris. He's leading the National League with 74, and his name is Jordan Walker.
Your boy is amazing, by the way. That was awesome.
And then here's two guys that I think you should probably name, because there's a gentleman who leads the National League in both hits and batting average. And then there is a gentleman in the American League who is tied with Diaz for hits, leads the American League in home runs, and leads the American League in RBIs. So he probably deserves a shout out.
I know. Oh, crap. I don't know his name, but he plays for Houston.
That's correct.
I brought him up.
Jordan Alvarez.
That's correct. 31 home runs, 70 RBIs. And in the National League, Otto Lopez of your Miami Marlins is batting a cool 334 with 127 hits to lead all of baseball.
Yeah, 127 hits by the All-Star break is crazy.
That's Ichiro stuff right there. Stolen bases. Either one of you guys want to give a guess? Two different guys, of course. One in the American League, one in National League. Either one of you want to guess who's leading stolen bases? Somebody's got 30 and another guy's got 34.
Which is great, by the way. That's
the only thing I know about stolen bases right now is PCA has over 20. He has a 2020 season already. That's the only person I know of. I think, that's it. I don't even think Otani's gotten to 20 stolen bases yet.
Bobby Witt Jr. Gotta love a guy with Jr. on the end of his name. I'm Rodney Allen Morgan Jr. So Bobby Witt Jr. has 30, and Nasim Nunez of your Washington Nationals has 34 to lead Major League Baseball.
Oh, Ricky Henderson have 60 before the All-Star break, let alone 30.
Ricky be talking about himself the third person, too.
Yeah,
that
gone.
Reynolds clip that we both saw is fantastic. I love that. When the only time in the 80s when Harold Reynolds won, Henderson.
Right, he won with 60, and Ricky calls him up. It's like, Ricky would have had 60 by the All-Star break.
Hey, I wanted to start out the show giving Jimmy a little bit of a break here because at this time of year, we tend to lean on Jimmy a little bit heavily. He's our NBA guy. He's our wrestling guy. And with no football happening right now, we're going to turn it over to Jimmy Jamariska. But I did want to mention, I believe, folks, we will have Josh Williams, our football handicapper, joining us starting next week. And if not next week, it will certainly be the week after that, beginning his NFL season previews. We've cooked up a new way to do it this year. We're going to kind of lead up to all of the big stuff being right before the season, but we're going to try to pepper Williams for some good information along the way. Jimmy Jam, are you excited about football?
I'm excited about the circle backs, about the Tomlin rah-rah spots. Even though he's not in there, he'll get him in there somehow. I'm excited about him winning a lot of bets, not talking about them on the show, which is even more fun for us.
Fair.
It really helps the
fair.
ratings. So, yeah, we like that. But I'm also excited for the fastest 15 minutes in the NBA. We are talking about the fast break. We're going to go pretty quick today because we're kind of in a lull before LeBron James gets signed, and we'll have to talk about that for 6 weeks straight. But the NBA Board of Governors had their meeting, and they talked about some expansion, and we know where that's going. But they also Adam Silver talked about the Kawhi Leonard scandal, and I know we've talked about it a lot. But the fact that they do not have a resolution to this after the new league year has started, after free agency has ended, essentially, after the trading has basically ended, I just don't understand, Chris, how incompetent of this isn't Watergate. This isn't a crypto scam. This is, you look at it, Pablo Torre figured it out. Just go talk to him for 10 minutes, okay? Either way, I don't care at this point. We need some kind of resolution so we can move on with our lives.
I mean, at this point, you got to think the NBA has been stalling to hope that people would forget about it so much, or stalling because they don't know the correct PR avenue to take to release whatever they do. There's not anything that they're going to do that's not going to piss somebody off, unfortunately, right? If they penalize the Clippers only lose access to a draft pick that they've already traded, I think, so it would hurt another team instead of the Clippers the way the NBA rules are set up right now. If they do something to Kawhi, Toronto gets hurt in that because they made a trade for him, and that's not necessarily fair. I mean, it does nothing but sow distrust. So the feeling of incompetence from the NBA brass, especially, it's maddening. All right. This isn't that complicated. All right. It should have been figured out and penalties dealt a month or two into the investigation.
Rod, I'm sure you have no thoughts.
First, I want to start with justice for Grady Dick. He needs a home. He needs to know where he's going to play basketball in 2026. So please figure this thing out. Justice for my guy from Kansas. He was just starting to come around, getting his shooting form a little bit there by the end for the Raptors. Could have done some things out there in Clipper land or back in Toronto. I mean, just figure this thing out. And I have lots of things I could say about Adam Silver, Jimmy. I don't want to derail this podcast with my rantings and ravings. I've not been in a good place with the NBA recently. You guys have seen some of it in our group threads. I've gone to a dark place with Tom Dundon. I know entirely too much about Tom Dundon and how he got his money and how many red flags there should have been with this guy coming into the league. But what I ultimately want to say here is this is a bit of a reflection of the problem Adam Silver has with his owners coming out in a different way. You'd say, yeah, he has a problem with his owners, Rod, because Steve Ballman's circumventing the salary cap. Sure, every owner's probably doing it in certain ways. They're just not being as flagrant about it. What's going on right now is Adam Silver is terrified of Steve Ballmer's deep pockets in the litigation that Steve Ballmer would bring against the NBA if they try to bring down a penalty against him. So Silver's trying his desperate to either A, run out the clock, or B, just have mountains and mountains of evidence that it's just too hard for the Clippers to be able to fight back against it. And either way, it's unfortunate because Kawhi Leonard continues to garner far too much NBA airtime.
He does. He had a good season last year, but the seasons before that weren't as good. I just think it boils down to is, if they are going to give huge penalties to both of them, we just need to figure out what those are. So if they're going to void Kawhi Leonard's contract, does that hurt Kawhi because he's going to get voided by the Clippers? He's just going to go sign with the Raptors. That helps the Raptors because they don't have to trade for him, right?
But Jimmy, salary cap, though. Salary cap is dried up a little bit. Like, one of the only teams that can give Kawhi a decent-sized contract right now is the Clippers. So, he would suffer a little bit there.
And then with the Clippers, so what do you do to the team itself? Are you taking away draft picks, or are you saying, hey, maybe this year you don't get to be in the postseason no matter what? Well, then what happens then? What do they do? Because they can't win, but they can't also tank because they don't want to be in the bottom three. So there's some things that can happen still. But again, we can speculate all we want. We just don't know what's going on. And that, to me, is just it's a microcosm of society right now, honestly. Anyone can do whatever they want, and there's no repercussions for anything. And I don't like it.
You're so right about that, Jimmy. You're so right about that. We need to do a better job of emulating the Shield, okay? I don't love putting the NFL up as a shining beacon at the top of the hill because they do so many things that make me cringe, okay? But the one thing they do is they make sure every team, even this new ownership group that paid $9.5 billion for the Seahawks, guess what? They didn't have a whole lot of debt. The NFL made for sure they had huge amounts of cash reserves on hand so that you can't immediately turn around and start crying poor, basically the way that Tom Dundon has, and basically what Bill Chisholm is now doing in Boston as well. You can tell me optionality all you want, but all you're really doing is saving money on your bottom line. And that's not good for the league. And the NFL looks out for that, right? Instead of just looking at what's right in front of their face and saying all of this private equity, capital money coming in from God knows where is great for us right now. But you know when it's not great is years down the line when those dudes sitting in boardrooms that don't have an investment in the community or the team any longer just want to turn a profit. That doesn't help anybody.
It doesn't, except for season ticket sales.
Well, and the one thing that really hurts is that if they don't have those cash reserves, all their real wealth is tied up into these investments, and we all know how that can turn out sometimes, right? And all of a sudden, they are worth nothing, and they can't do anything with that franchise, and then they're forced to sell to the next money-grubbing thing, or do something even worse, close the whole franchise out.
Yeah, you know what? I don't like negativity. Let's talk about positivity before we get into wrestling. The top 4 picks in the NBA draft are all studs, and I love it. I think it's terrific. Caleb Wilson apparently is Rookie of the Year front runner right now. I just love it. People exaggerate so much over this, these games, but Caleb Wilson looks like a guy. Cameron Boozer, apparently he's a 10-year veteran already out there. Darren Peterson, knock on wood, did great, and so did DeBanza. I love the fact that all 4 guys had a very good showing in the over the past couple weeks. Rod,
wasn't Alexander stretchered off for the Jazz? Wasn't Alexander their first round pick?
Peterson was their first round pick.
Okay, never mind.
Jimmy, do you believe Caleb Wilson when he says that he is putting up between 2,000 and 2,500 jump shots a day? Like, do you? I mean, like, I don't want to call the guy a liar, but like, I wonder on the math there. That's just a lot of jump shots.
All right, here's the deal. We're so 2,500 shots a day, right? We're doing the math on this is going to be great podcasting. 2,500 shots a day. So we're going to divide that by 24 hours a day. 104 shots an hour divided by 60 minutes in an hour. That's not correct. I messed up math. That's a lot of shots, Rod.
That's what I'm saying. See what I mean? You couldn't even get there with the calculator. Like, God bless the kid for telling everybody that he's got a chip on his shoulder. He wants to prove he's the number 1 pick. God knows Chicago needs it. Him and Buzelis, let's go. I want nothing more than for my guy Cowboy Derek to constantly bring up the Bulls and the Bulls to actually mean something. When he brings them up the last couple of years, it's completely annoying because it's out of nowhere and it has nothing to do with the frame of the NBA because the Bulls don't matter. Now, hopefully in the future, it will matter because Caleb Wilson looks like a dude. But I don't believe that he's shooting 2,500 shots a day, Chris. I just don't.
If you are trying to emulate who I assume is one of this kid's biggest fans, a Kobe Bryant, let's say, that's the type of mentality you have to have. Kobe was out there shooting 5,000 shots before every practice, all right, in about 2 hours. And that's about 1.6 shots per minute, I believe is what that boiled down to, all right? And that's easy to do when you have somebody catching your rebound and passing you the ball back. You do a juke or you're practicing a catch and shoot. You can do 2,500 shots in an hour. And that's what you're going to have to do. You're going to have to figure out how much you really have to put in that work to get to that next level, to have that killer instinct. I hope for Bulls fans that Caleb Wilson has it, right? Because that's exactly what you guys need.
Wait a minute. We need Mr. Leland or somebody. We need like a math teacher here because like I literally am having trouble believing he can get 2,500 shots up in a day. And Chris just casually dropped that Kobe could shoot 5,000 shots in 2 hours. Like we got something. We got to figure this out.
I think he might. Well, here's the thing. If he's obviously not shooting 24 hours a day, right? So let's do 15 hours a day. That's 3 shots a minute for 15 hours in a day. Can you shoot 3 shots in a minute? Of course you can. There's no question. You could probably shoot about 10 shots in a minute, right?
All right.
So,
so Chris's point that he's got a guy rebounding for him. All right, sure, fine. But I mean, we all know he's doing interviews. He's got to eat.
You can do 25 shots in 45 seconds. We watch them do it every year in the NBA All-Star game for the 3-point contest.
Yeah, all right, fine. Be a party pooper, Chris. Just prove to everybody that you know more about math. Fine. You win. You're the math champion.
I'm trying to give hope to the Bulls fans out there that want Caleb Wilson to be the stud.
I said the guy was going to be good. I just called him a liar. That's all. He can be liar all he wants. Listen, there's liars in prominent positions in this country all over the place.
I do think it's funny. Like I'm a Bulls fan, number one through and through. Not as much as Derek, obviously, but I'm a big Bulls fan. Been a fan for life. It is funny how crazy people are getting with this guy, though. It's like, okay, calm down. There's going to be some times during the season where he's going to get exhausted. Remember, he didn't play that much in Carolina. Okay, he got hurt. So this is a very long season. Just be proud we have someone who wants to work. And whenever they asked him about anything after that first game, he said, we lost, so it didn't matter. We lost, so it didn't matter. We got to win. I like that attitude. So that's a really good attitude.
And listen, don't worry about me, okay? If Derek is going to be riding high on his horse about Caleb Wilson all year long, I'm going to be able to knock him down about Darius Acuff because, oh, my goodness.
He didn't have the best first game. A lot of people shoot 29 times. Maybe that's what Caleb Wilson's shooting in a minute, right? But yeah, Acuff didn't have the best first game. He did come back a little bit. But yeah, it's gonna be tough, I think, for him. It's gonna be a long season in Sacramento, and they need to win because they need to
Sacramento Kings basketball, baby. Remember when we used to light the beam?
We're gonna be lighting the beam again real soon.
We were the number one fans of the Sacramento Kings. But you know what we are now? We're going to the Yeah We Know podcast. Listen, we're going to go right into wrestling because there's a ton of stuff happening. First of all, I got to say RIP to Seamus from WWE. There is no more Seamus. Had a good run, Rod. Had a great run, but just got hurt a lot. And he's one of those guys who now this new sports league that has bought them is saying, hey, you're good, but you're going to get a mid-level exception, not the big con.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of what we were talking about in the NBA, right? It's almost like the second apron has come to the WWE. And if you're not somebody that you can sell to the TKO board as a legitimate, big-time main eventer or somebody that can really float the mid-card, they're like, cool, you need to get paid like Tozawa. And a lot of those guys are going to have pride, right? Especially a guy like Sheamus. I mean, he's a Hall of Famer. That guy's an absolute Hall of Famer. Only thing he never got was the Intercontinental Championship. I really thought the WWE probably should have given it to him. We had a couple of shots there near the end where there were some storylines that made a lot of sense. They could have just given it to him. Giving him the Grand Slam would have been a cool honor because the guy, frankly, Jimmy, as you can vouch for, he did a lot of wrestling during some of the lean years, man. Sheamus was the guy they leaned on during some of those lean years, and like he just did his job and looked like $1 million and was as white as a ghost. It worked. It just worked.
Did. Chris?
Banger after banger after banger after banger. I have loved every match I have watched with Seamus since I've been back into wrestling. I wish I could have watched his whole career. I'm sad I'm not going to be able to see him in the WWE again, at least not in the near future.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone comes back to the WWE, so let's just calm down on that one. But yeah, it's going to be a minute. I'm excited to see what happens for him next. If he goes to TNA, goes to Japan, goes to AEW, we'll see. AEW has a talent problem right now. They have way too many guys that think they should be in the number one spot, and I think that would be a little crowded. I think him going to Japan would be fantastic if that's something he wants to do. So good luck to Sheamus.
Wherever Sheamus goes, Dax will keep us updated.
Yes, he will, of course. And I can't remember what his new name is, but it's not going to be Sheamus because it can't be Sheamus because heaven forbid you can let the guy use that name. My question to you, Rod, is Danhausen and JD McDonough going to main event at the Garden for Saturday night's main event?
Yeah, he's going to main event, and I am excited, but I also would not be true to the listeners out there if I didn't say I was a little bit like, maybe we need to be a little bit careful what we wish for here. All right. I love me some Danhausen, but I haven't necessarily thought that what I've seen in the ring was the stuff of an absolute Eddie Guerrero level tactician. And the more that you put somebody in the ring where they can be subject to a bad spot, the more it just becomes hard for that momentum to keep building, right? Like the more stumbles that you have as that pinwheel is trying to keep going, the more chances people are like, yeah, I like Danhausen, but, he really only sells T-shirts and, he really only has the smoke that pops out of the corners. So, like, I hope they have something new, a new way for the Danhausen thing to start going, Jimmy. Like maybe we finally see what is under the white curtain.
I think it's going to be Minihausen again, Chris.
No, those feet are too big. It's not going to be a Minihausen. It's going to be a Megahausen somehow, right? It's going to be somebody big, it's just going to be Megahausen. He's just going to come out and he's going to be the muscle to Danhausen's brain, and we'll kind of see that move forward. That's what I've been anticipating.
Almost is going to come out. Almost is going to be he and Danhausen actually work perfect together.
That would be great. That would be perfect. I would love that. Let him get disqualified because he comes out with Megahausen, right? And he gets disqualified, so JD technically wins the match, right? But I think that's a great way. I also think it's good to have him in the ring with JD McDonough. We know what he can do, and he can sell, and he can take bumps. So I'm excited. I think Madison Square Garden is going to go shit.
Yeah. Oh, I think they'll go shit. I do not think this is going on last, by the way. I think this is going to be a huge smoke and mirrors match. I don't think it's going to go on first either. I think it's going to go somewhere in the middle just to kind of get the fans back up and ready to go. But it's always interesting to see what they're going to do with Danhausen, how far they're going to go. I think that I'm kind of with Rod here. It's like, okay, I love Danhausen, but let's not get too crazy here because there's a suspension of disbelief, and then there's okay, this is stupid.
Definitely getting close. We're definitely getting close, right? We're definitely getting close, and I hope that Triple H is smart enough to know where that line is, but I worry about TKO's influence as well in the whole thing.
I was really hoping that Jalen Brunson would get involved here somehow, but they're not going to let him touch anything. He'll be on the show for sure, but he's not going to get involved in anything because he's hurt. But I think it would be really cool to have he and Danhausen have a moment because say what you will, it doesn't really matter. It worked, and I think that was a pretty special moment. So I think that was really cool. Lyra Valkyria and Bayley. I think that they're going in a decent direction. I wish this was more of a SummerSlam match, but I understand why it's on Saturday night's main event because I'm one of the only people that would want this on SummerSlam. I think they need to come out and have a solid just brawl and really show some stuff here because they've been put on the back burner for way too long. I do like the fact that Lyra said you're the worst of the four horsewomen, which, by the way, saying that, we'll talk about that in here a second. But I like that. I like Bayley going back and forth at her. What are your thoughts, Rod, on this matchup? Are you excited at all for it?
I think you hit the nail on the absolute head there, Jimmy Jam. I want to see a slobber knocker between these two. I want them to go back and forth. I want them to absolutely want to beat the living tar out of each other. And then basically we have to just call it, right? Like just give me one of those endings where like they're both, would they get counted out? We don't care about getting back in the ring. We're pounding each other with chairs. You know what I mean? We bust through the ring table, like I'm for all of that out of this match because of the Danhausen match, because the end is still just going to be Roman which I love when Roman talks at the end, but, you know, clearly we're not going to need a table or something to get broken at the end with just Roman talking. So I say have it be this match, and I say I don't usually come on here and say don't give us an ending, but don't give us an ending. Don't have it be people run in because there's nobody that makes any sense to run in and want to stop this match, but like have this match end in a non-decision because these two women just want to get the tar beat out of each other.
Chris.
So I guess the first thing I want to ask is Lyra turning grunge? Because that was a pretty grungy outfit she had on the other night.
Yeah, she looks like the witch.
I met a lot of girls from Oregon that dressed that exact same way.
Wait, they dressed that way on the Oregon Trail? Really? It's been a while ago since you've been there.
This was 90s Oregon. It was hippie and grunge.
16 90s, whatever that was.
But
calm down, everybody.
I'm going to tell you what, I don't think I've seen these two wrestle anybody or have a story with anybody except each other since Lyra's came up. And let me see something else. All right. I don't know why we keep getting this. Like, they're friends, they fight, they're friends, they fight, they're friends, they fight, and they don't do anything else. For 2 years, it's been like this, and it's kind of stale to me.
It's what happens when you just have so many talented females on the roster, because really they are great. Both of them are terrific in the ring. They both have decent characters as well. I mean, but let's talk real quick about this, because Bayley's the worst of the 4 horsewomen. Well, let's talk about it. We have Becky Lynch, I can never do it, Sasha Banks, Charlotte Flair, and Bayley. Rod, saying she's the worst of the 4 horsewomen is both a compliment. I mean, it's true, but it's also a compliment, isn't it? Yeah, see, Rod doesn't even care. He's muted. Doesn't even care.
It's not true. It's not true is what I will say to you. I'll take Bayley every day and twice on Sunday over Sasha Banks. I think Sasha Banks is incredibly overrated. I think that Sasha Banks is the epitome of someone who, if you tell everyone that you're the greatest wrestler of all time, always, constantly, in every interview, all the time, enough people will start to believe it. And so I just think that Sasha Banks is the creator of her own legacy more than any other professional wrestler ever has been. I'm not a bit enthralled by her character. I'm not at all thinking that her resume is that much better than Bayley's. Like, sure, fine, she might have a couple more WWE championship belt wins than Bayley does because I wasn't around during Sasha Banks' heyday, but I don't recall Bayley ever being told what she was supposed to do on a show and saying, nah, that doesn't work for me, and walking out. So, I mean, you know, you guys can all yell at me all you want, you internet wrestling community Sasha Banks lovers out there, but I've got zero time for Sasha Banks. So Bayley is way better than her, in my opinion.
Okay. I like that. I like that thought, Rod, because if you go back and forth on it, Sasha Banks and Bayley really are the two in question, because you have Becky Lynch and Charlotte are on a whole nother stratosphere. Obviously, you hold Charlotte in a little higher regard than Becky. I think Becky's highest highs have been higher than Charlotte's, though. I don't think we can argue on that. I think that Bayley's been a little bit more consistent, because Sasha Banks went away for a little while from wrestling in general. Now she's back with AEW and went on the belt collector gimmick a couple years ago and won all the indie belts as well, which is whatever. That's fine. Yeah, I don't know, Chris. What, you know, of the two, I think you're a little bit more familiar with Bayley than Sasha, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm not familiar with Sasha at all. I would like to circle back real quick. When Rod started talking about someone portraying themselves as the greatest of all time over and over and over, I really thought you were talking about Phil and not Sasha Banks, so threw me for a loop there. But yeah, I also wasn't around for the 4 horsewomen either, right? So I didn't get to see that. But
well, okay, so that's the thing. There really was never, it was not like on TV. They were the 4 people that really started this evolution of WWE. Now, Bayley did not get brought up for a very long time after the initial 3 came up, but that was kind of what their gimmick was behind. They were all together. And I think Bayley's overcome a lot more than Sasha as well, with being stigmatized as someone who was never going to make it. She was fine, but, you know, lost all the time, and then really did a great job of getting the people behind her with the hugger gimmick. And then, you know, ultimately defeating Sasha at one of the best women's wrestling matches I've seen. So, with the storyline included in that. So I think that, Rod, I may be on your side on this. I think Bayley might be, of the two, better That's an interesting.
Just also just Sasha Banks's persona of like just her need to like carry money to the ring and like have stacks of money in all of her pictures and stuff. Like I have zero time for it. I'd much rather see somebody fight with the character that Charlotte Flair has had, where sure you can be an icy bitch, but you're incredible at wrestling and you just prove it in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, you know what Charlotte Flair doesn't have to do? Thousands and thousands of interviews, trash talking everybody else and saying about how she's the greatest. She can do it, but she doesn't have to do it all the time. And to me, that's what Sasha Banks leans on. It's never ring performance, but I could be wrong. You know what I mean? There's probably going to be all these dudes angry at me saying, check this match out, check that match out. And I could probably watch one or two of them. And I'm smart enough to say Sasha Banks has some talent, but walking out is a big thing for me, man. Like I know these are independent contractors and you need to be in charge of your own legacy, but you play ball. You know what I mean? Like, does Otis and Tozawa want to lose constantly? Probably not, but they show up and do what they're supposed to do.
That's true. They do.
I'm going to have to say, learning that Sasha walked in with stacks of cash and money flowing around makes me like her a little bit more. I don't know why, but like, give me Trick and then, right, they're throwing cash all over the place. Ted DiBiase, The Godfather, like those are some of my favorite wrestlers. They always were throwing.
Hold on. Little Yachty is throwing the money. I don't have a problem with the manager throwing the money, but the wrestler doesn't need to be throwing the money. The wrestler needs to be about business. Money comes after. Let the
Ted
manager
DiBiase,
be holding the money.
The $1 Million Man. He always had that case.
Did you ever want Ted DiBiase to win?
I don't care, but I still liked him. No, he was the heel.
What do you mean you don't care? You're the one that cares more about this than anybody, Mr. Fan, and I go for the people who I want to win. You don't care?
When I reminisce back...
Great on a podcast saying that, too. Excellent job.
When I reminisce about the old days, right, when I was watching that, when Ted DiBiase was coming out as the $1 Million Man, like, that's just reminiscing to me, right? So, at the time, he was a bad guy. Of course I wanted him to lose, just like you always do, right? But I still love the character. I still love those guys that come out and flash money because they're easy to hate. They're fun to hate. I like them. Except Trick and Little Yachty, I'm in love with right now, so I don't hate them.
Let's talk about it.
I think we get Nikki Bella back this weekend with the Paige and Brie Bella versus Fallon Henley and Laney Reed. It seems like this might be a time where we bring Nikki back and kind of have something going in with that. I'm not really too invested in this feud, so that might be something that happens. Guys, anything to add to this match?
Is there some sort of Danhausen curse on the WWE women's tag team belts that they immediately get put on people and then they become not interesting at all? Or is it that all of the people they choose to put the WWE women's tag team belts on are not interesting? Jimmy, which answer is it?
It's not a Danhausen curse. It's the curse of the titles. Since day one, because I think Sasha got hurt when she and Bayley won. Or Bayley got her, one of the two. Since day one, they have never mattered because they've never focused on it. They literally put them in so they could say they had women's tag team championship belts. I know that's not the most creative answer, but that's it. It's just they don't care about them at all. And it's unfortunate because there's a lot of really good wrestlers that could be good teams and they could really do some good stories with it. But again, they just don't care, Rod.
Paige and Brie Bella ain't it either. Like, I understand that it's a great Paige story, like great for you, the triumph of the human spirit. You were down, you brought yourself back to the WWE. That's cool, but like, it's not working, man. It's not working. And Brie Bella seems stiff. Like, it's not working. And like, Fatal Influence, okay, I'm still here for it, but like, it's borderline too bitchy. You know what I mean? Like, I can't say it any better than that, right? But like, it's bordering on like they're just bitchy and not like doing normal heel stuff. And so like, they're right on the line to me.
Party Crashers Part 2.
Well,
I mean, that's what Fatal Influence is. But all right, give me at least more real groups like that, right? I think that's what hurts the female tag team division more. Right. You don't have the female version of the Street Profits or the Alpha Academy or the Uso brothers, or who's the other guys that have it right now?
That's a great question. It's a tag team championship in WWE. Just say any tag team name ever. It's fine.
Well, I wanted to say the Road Warriors, and that wasn't it. But like, right, so you don't have real tag team partners. You have a few. You've had opportunities in the past. I thought The Kabuki Warriors would have been a great tag team championship group, right? To really pull those belts forward. But like, stop just putting people together. When you do have somebody that was interesting, I thought Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair, I thought that tag group was great. I still think they're great as a duo. I liked how they worked off each other. They could have been great to hold the belts for a while, give it meaning, right? Make it difficult to win.
Rod, do you remember who the WWE Tag Team Champions are?
It's the Road Dogg, Jesse James, the Badass Billy Gunn, the New Age Outlaws. That's who it is, right?
Exactly.
It
is our truth and Damian Priest.
Damian Priest is in AAA now, isn't he?
Yeah, but he's a WWE Tag Team Champion.
No, they thought they lost it to the other guys.
So did I, but I'm on WWE.com right now.
No, the Viking Warriors are the AAA tag champions, Chris. And they're not the Viking Warriors, they're the Viking Raiders.
Whatever.
Yeah.
My bad on that.
The Vision is who
and then the Vision, the Vision. Which the Vision, oh my God. Can we how far? Go ahead, Jim. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm taking over hosting.
No, I like that because, real quick, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Gunther, it's just going to be a matchup. Who cares? I think Sami Zayn and Gunther are going to win because CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, something's going to happen, and that's fine, whatever. But let's go to the Vision real quick. Okay, let me ask it this, Rod. What member of Triple H's family did Braun Breaker insult?
I think it must have been one of Triple H's daughters, right? One of the non-on-camera daughters, like the eldest daughter was around, and Braun Breaker just said something off color, and Hunter's not having it.
Or maybe he just walked by her, didn't realize, and just gave her a cold shoulder or something, because Braun Breaker was supposed to, in theory, win the world championship at WrestleMania this year. Stuff happened. He got hurt. Other people got hurt. Yada, yada, yada. That's fine. But now, Paul Heyman said, "Hey, Maxine Dupree, take him. I'm out." What?
Yeah, you started in a group that was you, Seth Rollins, Bronson Reed, and Paul Heyman, and you are now part of a group that is you, Austin Theory, Logan Paul, and Maxine Dupree. And now, Jimmy, I'm one of the bigger Logan Paul apologists on this podcast, but dude is in a cast right now. All right, he's not even allowed in the ring for any reason. So, man, life comes at you fast sometimes in the WWE, as you said, Jimmy. So Braun Breaker looked like he was the man, and now you're basically the same as my guy Ilya Dragunov at this point. Like that's basically where you're at, Braun.
Kind of, Chris.
Maybe not quite that low, right? I think he still has a little bit of pull.
You?
He still has a belt around him. He still has a belt around him.
Say that. I'm not going to stand for this Dragunov slander. Only I can slander him.
And even me, an old man who doesn't know the realms of social media, has heard the rumblings of Breaker being upset about where his story is going currently, and has had discussions with the creative of WWE. But that's what happens, right? The guy that you were supposed to get it off of ends up getting hurt and it can't do it, and then you end up getting hurt trying to fill in that gap. Like it's unfortunate, but because you get hurt doesn't mean every storyline is going to pause until you get back. You can't work that way, right? So that's how it goes. So yeah, you have a belt around you. Be happy you have a belt around you, Braun Breaker, and then keep working until you get a bigger belt around you. And creative has to put you into bigger matches.
I love how you said that, Braun Breaker. Just watch yourself, jerk.
I'm going to get speared so hard.
But doesn't this open the possibility, though, that Braun leaves and maybe he comes back with the proper right last name? Like, do we think we're ever going to do that? Do we think that they're going to try to embrace the Steiner, or do you think they're going to stick with Braun at the rest of his career?
I think Braun Breaker is a lot better for shirts and things like that. And since they didn't do it to start with, because I think, isn't his name actually Rex Steiner, which is even better than Braun Breaker, by the way? But anyway.
Yeah, like 15 years from now, he'll be Rex Steiner.
When he's wrestling in New Japan.
Yeah, and then what happens when Bronson Reed comes back? I think that's also something new, because you would think that Bronson and Braun would get together and maybe go against Logan Paul and Austin Theory. Who knows? I think Austin Theory and Maxine Dupree, at least they're giving Austin Theory a storyline, something to maybe bring him out of his shell. Maxine Dupree is a good manager talent. I like her as in that role. So let's just keep her there. And I think that could do something. But the vision, it's not looking too good, Rod.
But like, I'm sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry. But like this is also a prelude to something we're going to be seeing, right? We heard Rollins bring this up, and this is a new wave of young, big name stars. And I put Braun Breaker, Bronson Reed, Trick Williams, The Ruler, even Royce Keys, right, up in some of these young guys that are going to be big names for the WWE here soon, right? And you have to see that if you're guys like Breaker and Reed, even though you may not like where you are right now, you got to see that you're the future, right? You're the big names that are coming up. You're going to have those main events when the Rollins and the Reigns and those people and the Codys and the Phils are gone.
Yeah, but they're never leaving. We can talk about that main event segment too here. I still stand on my soapbox and saying I hate when your champions call themselves old. I don't like it at all. But I do like that Roman said that Seth can only win the championship with the Money in the Bank. I think that was a good line. Only if Seth Rollins wins the championship at SummerSlam. And I don't think he's going to, Rod.
No, he is definitely not winning the championship at SummerSlam. And I will call a spade when it's a spade, man. And Roman cooked my guy. Roman absolutely cooked my guy. He buried him. Good on my guy to come back and, get in a lick. I thought that he was going to be the champion with his, I'll see you next time you come to work. And then he was just absolutely decimated and laid to waste. And that's fine. Listen, Seth Rollins comes to work.
Rod's out. Rod, you back? I think you're back, Rod. Now he's muted. He's going to figure something out here real quick.
Wait, am I back now?
He's back.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. See, but now I'm not in my headphones. See, I'll tell you what, I got all excited, but it'll be fine. That's what I'm going to say. It'll be fine.
You guys said that Rollins was going to lose to Breaker, and what happened?
Yeah, that's true.
Rollins is not a pushover. Reigns does not have an easy way out right now. I think Rollins is going to get his belt.
I think something that could be cool is if Rollins wins at SummerSlam, that does set up a possible CM Punk Seth Rollins champion versus champion match coming up at maybe if they do it at Survivor Series or if they do it at when they do the thing in Saudi Arabia, they could do that as well. So that would be a cool storyline to talk about. But another cool storyline I want to talk about is this Chad Gable winning the gauntlet match, and he will face Penta at SummerSlam in Chad Gable's hometown, home state, whatever, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I think Gable's going to beat Penta, and I think this is going to be the first match on either night 1 or night 2, and I think it's going to be amazing, Chris.
I think it's going to be an amazing match. You're 100% right. Like, I've loved everything that Penta and Chad does in the ring, no matter who they're wrestling against. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to look like they beat the hell out of each other, and Penta will come out on top in this match and keep the belt.
Well, you're not gonna hear yelling from me. I just think it'd be a really cool moment, and Chad Gable's kind of earned it. He had that AAA awesome match, and I think it'd be pretty cool. Rod, if you want to chat, just jump back in here when you can.
Yeah, I think I would hope that Chad Gable gets himself. Is it still not working?
No, you're good. You're good.
All right. I hope Gable gets the victory in Minnesota as well. I'm with you there, Jimmy. But I'm not so sure that it will happen. I kind of am with Chris that whenever I really want something to happen, it seems like it won't go that way. So it could be a big moment for Penta. But, give Chad Gable his comeuppance for all the good work he did there with the El Grande Americano storyline. Why not?
Only Phil wins in his hometown. That's how the WWE works.
Well, of course. So Obafemi is the most over person in the WWE right now. The interaction with Brock was fine. It's whatever. We still have a couple more weeks of that. But I do want to say one thing I didn't like is like the only reason I didn't take the championship match is because you would have interfered anyway. So then you're just like you're scared of him because what's going to happen the next time that you have a championship match? Isn't he going to interfere again? So I didn't understand that part at all. And also, it's not like he can just say, hey, I'm going to take it next week. This was the time to do it. So that doesn't make the most sense ever. The only thing that makes sense is it's the biggest match they have right now. Rod?
I was a little skeptical of that part of it as well. And I also like, again, to me, it just is more weakness out of Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman. You're putting fake cops out there, bringing up fake restraining orders. Like, it's just, like Brock Lesnar is supposed to be above this shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff the Miz does. You know what I mean? Like, this is the stuff that like Sami Zayn would do when he's like doing his, his squirmy heel gimmick. You know what I mean? Like, this is Randy Orton head game stuff. This isn't what the ultimate beast of the WWE does. And so, like, I continue to question that angle for the story. I guess you could convince me that they're trying to make Oba seem that much more dangerous and big as well by having to have Brock act this way, but it just cheapens it a little bit for me.
Yeah, I agree, Chris.
No, not quite. It doesn't quite cheapen
See, there
it
you
to
go.
me.
I love it.
Right? It doesn't. Right? It feels slimy. It feels like something Paul Heyman would do. Right? It feels right. We're not supposed to like Brock in this situation, right? Even though he is the beast, he's still the heel in this situation. We want Obafemi to win. We want him to run roughshod through the WWE and overtake it. And so this feels right and heelish to me. Even if it does feel like also something the Miz would do before he was electrocuted and taken over by Danhausen, right? It still feels fine to me. It feels very Paul Heyman-ish. And with Brock sitting back there and just laughing, right? It felt right to me. It felt cringy and icky and heelish, and it was perfect.
Well, it's always perfect for Paul Heyman, right? You can't beat Paul Heyman no matter what. If it's an interview on YouTube or a promo in the ring, he is pretty amazing what he does, Rod.
That's why he's a WWE Hall of Famer, right? I think that some of the best way for the WWE to get their promos across on all of their ESPN crossovers that they've done recently, right? Danhausen has done good work there. Cody Rhodes is okay, but Paul Heyman's the best. You put Paul Heyman on first take, or you put Paul Heyman on a Sports Center hit, like that guy knows how to sell. So, long live Paul Heyman. But stop acting like Squirmy Karen.
He's like a professor out there. But you know what? Something you can't teach. You can't teach 7 foot tall. Big Cass is coming back. And if you guys understood, that was a funny joke, and you'll get that eventually. Big Cass is coming back. You know, you thought he was going to be the man, which no one ever really thought he was going to be the man. But he's on his way. We saw the vignette. Enzo Amore might be coming back with him. We're not sure. Enzo and Cass being back together as a team. I know you two really aren't familiar with this duo at all, but I will say they were pretty big in NXT, and they debuted against not against the Dudleys. They debuted after a Dudley Boy match on Raw, and the fans went insane. And Enzo does this entire speech where he goes, "My name is Enzo Amore. I'm a certified G and a bona fide stud, and you can't teach that. And this is Big Cass, 7 foot tall, and you can't teach that." And he kind of goes over everything there. Not the best in ring, but awesome on the mic. In fact, one time, Rod, he didn't have a mic, and he pretended to use the mic, and the fans did his entire promo for him. It's pretty cool. Does this have any resonance with you at all? Now, you're on mute. Rod's
as a weekend DJ.
I expect this out of you.
Well, because my mic's not working now. I don't have my headphones on. Like, everything's blown to bits here. But as a man who enjoys communications, working as a weekend DJ and 2 podcasts, I love a good microphone worker. So you give me somebody who can cut a good promo. I'm all about that. And I also like big guys, right? Like, I always am calling for Omos to come back. You know what I mean? I'm excited that my guy Baron Corbin is back, and I'm angry that you didn't mention Baron Corbin's return to the WWE on this podcast, but that's all right. We'll have plenty of time to talk about him as he comes back and doesn't beat anybody at all, much the same way that Matt Cardona has come back and not beat anybody at all.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's where Baron Corbin's going to go. Royce Keys is saying, "Hi, I'm here. Remember, I was okay. You can just okay." Yeah, Chris, any residence with Enzo and Cass?
It depends on how bad they are in the ring, I guess, right? If it's way evident, I don't know. But if they're like that on the mic, and anybody that's that big is definitely a show to watch, so they'll get a fair shake. But we'll see.
Yeah, as a team, they were fine. Individually, it wasn't that good. They tried to put Enzo as the light heavyweight champion and made the whole show around him. And it just didn't work at all, unfortunately. And then Enzo got into some other stuff. And Big Cass was in AEW for the past couple years, I think. We'll see what happens. Love to see people come back, but it looks like with Rod's feedback and everything, we are going to have to call this a show. But I really want to thank you all for listening to the More You Know podcast. Hey, you like rock and roll? We do a rock and roll draft podcast, right, Rod?
We sure do. We got 3 episodes of that out available for you right now on a feed called Rock Draft from Classic Rock 97.7. You find it on Spotify. You'll find it on YouTube. Follow along there. And an upcoming episode all about yacht rock. So if you follow and listen to one of the 3 episodes we already got, you'll be ready for the upcoming yacht rock episode. Jimmy Jam, you think he produces this episode? He goes above and beyond production value on the Rock Draft episode. It's worth checking out. You're the man, Jimmy Jam.
Chris, take us home.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye, Internet.
LA Knight, I'm excited for you coming out and forcing your way into a SummerSlam match that seems to matter. Let's go. Maddle? I just said maddle. Man, this thing is throwing me off.
You maddle. Rod is beside himself. He's not going to sleep tonight.
Rod maddles and is mad.